Welcome back to another episode of EDIJ Xperience. I'm Jide, and today we're diving into a topic that doesn't get enough attention but affects us all: how plastics are impacting fertility. Now, we all know that plastics are everywhere, from the bottles we drink out of to the food packaging we rely on. But have you ever stopped to think about how they might affect your health? Specifically, your ability to have children? Sounds shocking, right? Well, that's what we're here to explore today. We'll break it down, talk science, hear what experts are saying, and share steps you can take to protect yourself. So grab a seat, maybe your favorite drink, preferably not in a plastic bottle, and let's get started. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's set the stage. Plastic is everywhere. It's cheap, convenient, and we produce around 400 million tons of it every single year. But here's the problem: plastics don't just sit there. They break down into microscopic particles called microplastics, and they leach chemicals like BPA and phthalates into our environment, food, and water supply. What does that mean for us? It means we are constantly exposed to these chemicals whether we realize it or not. BPA is in plastic bottles, food containers, even the receipts you get at the store. And phthalates? They're in perfumes, cosmetics, and soft plastics like cling wraps. Studies show 93% of humans have detectable BPA in their bodies. Phthalates have been found in 98% of blood samples tested. The question is, what happens when these chemicals get into our systems? And more specifically, what are they doing to our fertility? Let's start with women. Research shows that endocrine-disrupting chemicals like BPA mimic estrogen, a key hormone in the female reproductive system. When you have too much or too little estrogen, it throws everything off: your menstrual cycle, ovulation, and your ability to conceive. Women with higher BPA exposure have been found to have a 20% lower chance of successful embryo implantation during IVF. Phthalates can reduce ovarian reserve, meaning fewer eggs available for fertilization. These chemicals also increase the risk of conditions like polycystic ovary syndrome or PCOS and endometriosis, both of which can impact fertility. And the scary part? They're in so many everyday products. Now let's talk about the guys. Men's fertility has been on the decline for decades. A major 2017 study found that sperm counts have dropped by over 50% in the past 40 years. And guess what's contributing to this decline? You guessed it, plastics and their chemical components. Phthalates and BPA interfere with testosterone production, which is essential for sperm production and quality. Men with higher BPA exposure tend to have lower sperm counts, poor sperm motility, and even increased DNA fragmentation. Endocrine disruptors interfere with hormone signaling, causing significant damage to male reproductive health over time. It's a double-edged sword, really. These chemicals aren't selective. They impact both men and women, and they're nearly impossible to avoid completely. It's one thing to hear the stats, but it's another to see the real-world impact. Around 1 in 6 couples globally struggle with infertility, and while there are many causes, endocrine-disrupting chemicals are playing a bigger role than most people realize. These stories are heartbreaking, but they also shine a light on something we can control: reducing our exposure to these harmful plastics. Alright, let's talk solutions. While it's impossible to avoid plastics entirely, you can take simple steps to reduce your exposure. Swap plastic bottles for glass or stainless steel. Avoid microwaving food in plastic containers. Choose fresh foods over packaged ones. Check your personal care products for phthalates and BPA-free labels. Use reusable cloth bags and avoid single-use plastics. These changes may seem small, but they add up over time. Protecting your fertility starts with protecting yourself from harmful chemicals. So, there you have it. Plastics are a bigger threat to fertility than most people realize. But the good news is that awareness is the first step toward change. Start small, make mindful choices, and share this message with others. If you found today's episode helpful, hit that like button. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. And don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth conversations. See you next time. I'm your host, Jide, and this has been EDIJ Xperience. Explore, engage, elevate.